Okay, so we're going to tackle some 5th grade science. We're going to talk about fossils. If we were doing this as a reading passage, of course this would be informational, and fossils are like old things that have been buried for a long time. So that's probably what I would put up there. All right, so we're going to read it, and then we're going to answer the questions. Fossils are the remains of plants and animals that lived a long time ago that scientists about a plant's life, a plant or animal's life. Many fossils are the remains of plants and animals that are extinct. Extinct means they are no longer living and none are left on Earth. So I'm going to underline that because it's going to be important. And then I'm going to underline the fossils. Paleontology. Fossils have been found on every continent, in the mountains, under the water, in the valleys, ice, and many more places. Paleontology is the study of fossils and about life formed from long ago. So paleontology. Paleontologists estimate that only a small percentage of dinosaurs and other animals or plants that ever lived have been or will be found as fossils. One type of fossil is the remains of dead organisms or the imprint left by the remains. A second type of fossil is something that was made by the animal when it was living but has turned to stone. So I'm going to definitely, one type, remains of dead organisms or imprint left by the remains. And then second type, made by the animal while it was living. The bones and teeth are hard mineral parts of an animal that become fossils and after an animal dies. The animal's body is buried in mud or other sediment, and the teeth and bones do not rot like the rest of the animal's body. After a long time, the chemicals in the buried animal's bodies undergo many changes. The bone slowly decays, water filled with minerals seeps into the bone and replaces the chemicals in the bone with other minerals that are hard as rock. Fossilization is the name of the process. Okay, so it's like fossilization is like the chemicals, decay, all that. Okay, fossils come in many colors and are made of many different types of minerals depending on where fossilization took place. Most fossils are dug up from sedimentary rock layers. We've learned about sedimentary rock. It's the rock that's formed from sediment like sand, mud, and small pieces of rocks. So we'll just say sand, rock, there. Small pieces of animal remains become squeezed between the layers of this sediment. Over long periods of time, they are buried under more and more layers of sediment that piles on top of it. Move this up. Fossils are usually heavier than the original item since they are formed entirely of minerals. So I didn't know that. Fossils are usually heavier. Most fossils are made of ordinary rock material. Fossils do have the same shape that the original item had, but their color, thickness, and surface may be different. Okay, very important stuff. Lots and lots of information. Trace fossils may be something that was made by an animal while it was living, but has turned to stone. Okay, so I think that was like the second type of fossil. There are many types of trace fossils. Dinosaur tracks are an example. By studying fossil footprints, a paleontologist can study the speed, stride, number of feet an animal walked on, and the bone structure of the foot. They can also learn about the behavior of a dinosaur, whether they lived in herds, and how the tail was carried. The waste from an animal is an example of a trace fossil. So what is the waste? It's poo. It's poo. Which can lead to learning about the foods an animal had eaten. Dinosaur laid eggs of a wide variety of shapes and sizes and can be from 3 inches to 21 inches. So dinosaur eggs, 3 to 21 inches. Sometimes they have preserved parts of the beginning of a dinosaur which can help match an egg with the type of dinosaur. The best way for a fossil to be formed, which does not happen often, is inside ice. The animal must be continually frozen from the time of death until discovery. The woolly mammoth and rhinoceros are examples of fossils found in ice. So let's see, best way is inside ice. So what I'm going to do, just super quick, is I'm going to write notes so that I have it for the part that I need to do. Plus, by writing notes, at least for me, it helps me remember what I've learned, because I did learn some things in here as well. So let me make sure I've got this. There we go. Is that a little better? Oops, nope, that's not better. There, okay. So I'm going to start with fossils, the remains of plants and animals. And basically everything that I underlined, I'm going to write over here. Okay, extinct. Is no longer living. And none on earth. Okay, paleontology. Study of fossils. I'm just going to do study of fossils, because we already know fossils are from a long time ago, so we don't need to add that. All right, so one type of fossil is, okay, one type of fossil is the remains. I'm just going to do that, just shorten it. Second type, sorry about my dog, she's an attack pug. Made by animal when it was living. All right. Okay, and then we've got fossilization. I'm just going to do like the chemicals and decay. And see, I'm just getting the key things on here. I'm not writing the whole thing over again. Oh. I think my thing got messed up. Sorry, guys. Okay, let me, there, I'm gonna, now make sure you pause it, because I think you might have missed some that I didn't know that my camera had gotten off. So make sure. Okay, let's see, we're gonna go into sedimentary rock, which we already know about because we learned about that. I think I was moving the thing and then it moved my camera, sorry. Sedimentary rock is like sand, mud, rock, pressure. Okay. Fossils are heavier. Heavier than original organism. Okay. And then the color, thickness, and surface might be different. Okay, we're going to talk about trace fossils next. Trace fossils. Something made by an animal is living. Okay. Let's see. Waste equals waste. Poo. I put poo, comma there. Okay. Dinosaur eggs. I'm just gonna do dino. Dino eggs. 3 to 21 inches. Okay. And then the best way to form a fossil in ice. Okay, so this wasn't necessary. You don't have to do it, but it does help me remember what to do. Oh, we forgot to read some. So let me come back over here. Oops, sorry. Didn't see it. Okay. Finally, mummification occurs when the soft tissues of an animal's skin and organs are preserved for thousands of years and are completely dried. Mummified bodies of animals, including humans, have been discovered in arid and dry parts of the world. In summary, fossils are formed in many different ways, but the most common method of preservation is minerals, filling the empty spaces of plants or animals, and after a long period of time become hard as rock, but the shape of the original plant or animal is preserved. Okay, so mummification, soft tissues are preserved for thousands of years. So I'm going to have to put that on the back. I'm going to do mummification, soft tissues of animal or person, skin, organs preserved. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to go through the questions. I'm going to read them to you, and you'll have to answer those. But you do have your handy dandy notes if you took them. Hopefully you did. All right, number 1. Which of the following best defines extinct? So we have that right here. No longer living and none left on Earth. A, living things not existing in the past but do exist today. B, living things existing in the past but no longer exist today. C, living things living today but only a few exist. Or D, the fossils of living things from the past. 2, when a bone slowly decays and water seeps into the bone with minerals replacing chemicals in the bone, it becomes hard as rock. This process is called A, mummification, B, paleontology, C, sedimentation, or D, fossilization. All of the following are examples of trace fossils from dinosaurs except A, teeth, B, footprints, C, eggs, or D, waste. We talked about 2 of them, so you have to decide which other 2, which one would be a trace one, that's something left behind. Okay. 4, the best way for preservation of an animal or plant is by which of the following methods? A, mummification, B, freezing, C, decaying, or D, sedimentation. That was at the very bottom of the page on our notes. 5, which of the following can be discovered by examining the fossil footprint of an animal? A, speed of the animal, B, number of feet it walked on, C, bone structure, or D, all of the above. 6, which of the following takes place when the soft tissues of animals, skins, and organs are preserved for thousands of years and are completely dried? A, paleontology, B, sedimentation, C, mummification, D, fossilization. All right, so we took care of that. Now we're going to go on to let me see how we do that. Observation station. We're going to read the images and then answer the questions. All right, so I'm just going to read those the observation stations to you, and then you'll have to answer the questions. Which layers might contain fossils that are older than what's found here? So we're talking about something older than C. Where are they going to be? Are they going to be in A, B, F, E, or D? Observation Station 2. The following fossils were found in the locations shown in the photo. Ferns, twigs, snails, fossilized wood from pine trees, and moss. What can you conclude about the climate of this region? So where would you find these things? And do you think the climate has changed? That's what I would put, you know, in my answer. Observation Station 3. Puga. Moggy. Stop chewing. A fossil of a specific species of lizard was found in all 6 layers. What can you infer about the lizard? Okay, so if it was found in all of the layers, a fossil of a lizard, what does that tell you about that lizard? It's not a lizard, it's a specific species of lizard. Okay? Number 4. A student was provided with a fossil older than layer D, but younger than layer B. Which rock layer was it most likely collected from? Number 5. Layer B contains many plant fossils. In what type of environment did layer B most likely form? A, desert, B, tundra, C, ocean, or D, forest. Number 6. Layer A contains many shells and fossils of fish. What can you conclude about how this location has changed over time? Okay, look at what's there now and see what you can tell from it. Okay. And that's it for the for that section. Now on the back here, you could use your notes again. That's why we did the notes, or if you didn't do them, maybe, you know, go back and redo them because it will help you. Based on what you've learned, answer the following questions. You may use your textbook or the internet, so you can look it up on your phone if you want. But we answered all these here in our notes. What are fossils? If you go back to your notes, it's right here. It's the very first thing we wrote. How are fossils formed? Now that one you may have to go back to the actual reading because it's in here. So you might want a little more. And then the other way that they're formed, okay? So actually it's this right here. Right here. Okay? And how do the rock layers and the fossils that they contain tell us what happened in Earth's history and when it happened? Okay, the layers of rock and the fossils tell us what happened in Earth's history by what? Okay, and that takes care of science for week 5.